What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type. And in this episode, we are concluding Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway's Flash Volume 2. Last time, Mafy made it to Owenbelly, where he met Commander Kimberly and Fabio, who is the commander of the Owenbelly forces. They were responsible for the attack on the Houndzen. Also, Gigi left the Count as she realized that she has feelings for Hathaway and Kenneth that she can't ignore. This time, Gigi meets Mace Flowers, and it doesn't go well. She heads to Ayers Rock, where she happens to run into Hathaway. Also, we finally received confirmation that Hathaway 2 is in production. The wait won't be too much longer, so let's get into this. As Kenneth is preparing defenses for the Adelaide conference with Chief Police Officer Hundley Yoaksum, Gigi just randomly makes her appearance at the base. Kenneth wasn't expecting her to just show up. Mace Flowers is also making her way to their location with some Federation ministers. They head to his office. He is feeling worn down by everything going on. He is heading to Adelaide soon, so she says she will stay at Hathaway's place in Monado for now. After seeing the attacks on Davao in the news by the Manhunters, she doesn't feel safe there. While in the office, a secretary walks in and is silent and confused. Behind her comes in Mace Flowers. Mace and Gigi talk while Kenneth handles business. The two passively aggressively jab at one another. Gigi tells Mace that she is Kenneth's good luck charm, as she could sense that Mace and Kenneth had sex. She just outright asks if he is good in bed. This causes Mace to slap Gigi. No one saw the slap, but everyone heard it. She gets up and says she is heading back to Hong Kong. Kenneth comes in and asks what happened, but he knows. Gigi tells him that now's not the time for someone like her, as she is a drain to his energy. Definitely not Genki at all. She says that Kenneth can touch her butt and breasts if she likes. Okay, things are getting Genki again. As she is the Circe team's good luck charm, he tends to agree with her, as he has been stressed lately. Also, don't forget about the butt and the boob thing she just said. Kenneth will take Gigi along as he heads south for Adelaide. They head out on a carrier. The cabinet members that are now on board with the two sit in awkward silence as Kenneth is now with Gigi instead of Mace, who they came with from Hong Kong. Kenneth asks her what she thinks of the operation, this flight, and everything in the upcoming future. Gigi believes that things will go well, and they may even be able to capture something from Mafy. She then pauses and says, "Never mind, you won't capture something. It will sink into the waters." She eventually passes out. Later, Kenneth wakes up once they get close to Australia and informs her that her luck came in handy once again. Thanks to Penelope, they were able to take down one of Mafy's ships. This is the Valiant. Gigi never considered that Hathaway may be on board. Kenneth introduces her to the rest of the team and is officially recognized by the Circe unit. 3 hours earlier, the Valiant is moving through Benoi Harbor. The Valiant has an intricate camouflage system that doesn't work with the area's environment. Karaya and Julia went ahead to contact support forces and should be expecting them. The Minovsky craft system on the Psy Gundam comes in handy as the terrain is in marshy wetlands. This resupply mission involves them moving into Australia as forces, including the Owenbelly forces, make their retreat. They will try to help those in need as they make their escape. During this supply mission, they run into Fabio and his compatriots Cheng He and Federico. Hathaway grins and says, "So, not Guangzhou, huh?" It seems that their intel was wrong about the changing of the meeting place after calling Hathaway sloppy, so Hathaway jabs back at him. They ask for help with an immediate attack on Darwin, which Hathaway wasn't expecting. Fabio believes that if they attack Darwin, it will make EFF think that Mafy forces are heading to Guangzhou, giving them time to continue with the resupply in Australia. They lend Riddick's Galsazon to help out with Cheng He, Fabio, and his men. He officially makes the Owenbelly forces a part of Mafy. He wonders if they could keep him in line. Hathaway meets with Julia Suga, whose nipples are erect under her shirt. Tomino's words, not mine. "You horny dog." He asks her to take care of Karaya, as he won't be able to see her for a while. Julia mentions that after the mission, he should be easier on her. His Mafy personality can be tough on her. Riddick moves out with Chang. After their mission, they are to meet up with Fabio in Adelaide. Hathaway and Masam head to Darwin in the Psy Gundam. 3 men act as Karaya's proxy as she is not currently there. The informer of the carriers that recently arrived at the Darwin airport. They seem to be friends with the Owenbelly forces. There is a huge increase in the electronic components coming into Australia, unlike Torrington area, which is devastated by the colony drop. Northern Australia seems to not need more power, so he wonders what this could mean. Masam and Hathaway get into the Gundam and take off. The passage of time in this chapter is awkward and it jumps around, but this all takes place before daybreak. Shortly around this time, the Valiant is sunk. Hathaway won't know about this until he makes it to Ayers Rock. Hathaway is starting to realize that he made a mistake not bringing in Fabio and the Owenbelly forces earlier. If Federico and his men attack the airport earlier, Kenneth and Gigi may not be alive. They disembark and Kenneth instantly gets to work shipping ministers to Adelaide. Gigi says says she has a bad feeling about this place. This causes Kenneth to get everyone back into the air faster. Gigi once again comes in handy as a good luck charm. They make their leave from Darwin. Once they are far out of sight, the Federico team begins their attack. The Darwin forces just broadcast the message, Mafty's own belly forces. Federico's team flees in a civilian plane from the base. Meanwhile, Coraya makes her way north to a small civilian airport outside of Darwin. Kenneth and EFF believes that it is the own belly forces merely stealing planes on their way to Guangzhou. They took the bait. The team is starting to believe that Gigi is the goddess of the Circe unit. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. The morale boost of his men justifies Gigi being here. We've seen this with Amado at the end of the war as well. He motivates the white base crew claiming to be a new type savior, but new types don't have that power. It was just to help the white base crew as they went into battle at Abawaku. Somewhere in Australia, Hathaway is fighting with Gustav Karls. Everyone is split up making their way to Adelaide. But why is this summit so important for Mafty? At the summit, the Federation will attempt to ratify a special bill on the return to Earth. The Federation certainly has the power on who can and can't come to the planet, but it was never officially ratified into law. This special bill actually codifies it and gives them full authority. No longer is it an unspoken rule. Manhunters are now legally sanctioned. But when a few elites have the power, it creates a bureaucratic dictatorship, when those in charge give the power to their nepo babies. This is one reason why Mafty kills cabinet members. If the Federation wants to pass on power via bloodlines, then they will simply cut off the bloodline. Every once in a while, something comes along and uproots human consciousness. Char's rebellion was one of these moments. As Hathaway makes it to his next relay point, the ministers make it to Adelaide. The city only has 10,000 residents, but it slowly became Federation-controlled. One of Fabio's subordinates finally made it to Side 1 and provided SBTFV Londinian with the footage on the Owen Belly massacre. The news soon traveled to Earth, where many of the cabinet members saw Yoksum and Kimberly's men stopping Fabio's forces, using cruel and unusual methods. They demand Yoksum to tell them what the meaning of this is, but Yoksum and the police are spinning this as fake news. He and Gas Hugest head to the Plaza Hotel to speak with the Deputy Chief of Staff. Gas is currently acting as a liaison between Kenneth's Circe unit and the Manhunters in Davao. They realize that Kenneth and his Circe unit's performance was handled very poorly in Owen Belly. They need to get into contact with the 13th Autonomous Unit. They need to get in contact with Bright Noah. Masam and Hathaway notice wildfires breaking out as they make their way to Ayers Rock. Chan and the 30 of Fabio's men are also heading in that direction. They go to investigate the fires as something seems off. Tomino goes into detail about the Minovsky Cross system blowing the flames of the fire beneath the Kasai Gundam, but earlier Kasai was used in the marshlands because it wouldn't apply physics to the environment. This is a reminder that even Tomino is inconsistent. They find that the fire was most likely created by Rod Heinz Messer or Hendrix Hio's Galsazon. They finally make it to Ayers Rock and meet up with his comrades. Hendrix and the Galsazon are okay. Rod, however, was killed in action. Hathaway also learns that the Valiant was sunk. Wedge, Morley, and Rod are dead. He mentions that the good ones go first. Chang tells Hathaway Fabio's men have made it and are all resting. Chang has lost old allies and gained new ones. He feels a danger looming over Mafty. Hathaway catches his breath and takes a sip of coffee before Hendrix debriefs him and dumps more bad news onto his shoulders. Hendrix tells him how his comrades died by the hands of the Circe unit, but interestingly, they only took out the Messers. They didn't pursue the Galsazons. Hathaway realizes that the Circe unit is picking them off slowly and methodically. It is a war of attrition, and Mafty is on the losing side. He tells Hendrix to take his meds. If meds are brought up in Gundam, I always assume cyber new type enhancements, but it could just be some Vicodin or benzos to make the bad thoughts go away. This chapter ends with Hathaway thinking of Gigi and getting horny. 350 kilometers from Ayers Rock is Alice Springs. This is now the headquarters of the criminal police organization and the Manhunters. Kenneth's carrier lands in Alice Springs to pick up some Manhunters on the way to Adelaide. The Circe unit is still amazed by Gigi's abilities to predict the future. She realizes that the more she helps Kenneth, the more she is hurting Hathaway. They get a hotel for the night. Of course, Kenneth doesn't sleep, but continues on working, which means Kenneth is probably watching her. Gigi takes a shower and ponders the difference between Kenneth and Hathaway. Kenneth is a gentle person with amazing leadership skills. She believes that all the luck they are having is all due to his command. She sees Hathaway as a wandering dog that is always on the move. For a moment, she reflects on the Count. They were only intimate a few times, but he was mainly burdened by business and inheritance. She never had any ill will towards him, but after a year, she could sense it couldn't be. She says that she leans towards Kenneth over Hathaway most likely because of some father complex. She is drawn to older men. Kenneth comes to her room later as she orders room service. They have some flirty banter before Gigi asks about Kimberly. She says that the Circe unit should honor the past by finding Kimberly. She wants to go sightseeing in Ayers Rock, but Kenneth wonders if it has anything to do with the old commander. Kenneth loans her a Casaria to go to Ayers Rock while he continues forward towards Adelaide. He kisses her on the forehead and tells her to get some rest before leaving the room. Bright tells Mirai that he has to head to Earth the day after tomorrow. They were planning on checking out a shop in New Hampshire that day. Shouldn't it be New Hampshire? He submitted his resignation letter 6 months ago, but the Federation won't accept it, claiming that he is the only captain with combat experience on Earth. Bright thought of a career in politics, but after Char's rebellion, he is just waiting out the minimum requirements for his pension so he could get that Federation money and retire. They said they will allow him to retire after this mission. Also, Bright was a teenager when he joined the military and is now only in his mid-40s. He is still young, but with the battle scars of an older man, and is starting to show in his face. But god damn it, we have the return of Mustache Bright. It is glorious. He and Mirai are looking at buildings so they could eventually open a restaurant. The story will ultimately be the last time we see Bright. So if you ever wondered what Bright ended up doing post UC 105, he most likely lived out a quiet life running a restaurant with Chaemin and Mirai. However, he leaves the door open for politics and even daydreams of being the next Zeon Daikum. He informs Reagan Hamset, who is the second in command on the Rock High Loom, about his departure for Earth. He tells Mirai that he is helping the Circe unit and it should be a straightforward mission. Mirai says that maybe she could see Hathaway while on Earth. Mirai kisses him on the cheek as he goes to his day shift. She smiles but feels uneasy. Lane and the mobile suit team preps for Adelaide, while Gigi heads to Ayers Rock with the Casaria team. Lane says that involving her is the epitome of idiocy. He thinks that Kenneth has gone mad. He also refers to everyone around him as adults, like Amado or Camille, so I assume he is young, but unsure. Kenneth says that there is certainly, absolutely, without a doubt, no way that Mafy is in Ayers Rock. We jump to Mafy in Ayers Rock. They get an alert that Gustav Karls are nearby, and they instantly run into action. They find out that it is only one base jabber with 2 Gustav Karls. The team heads south while Hathaway handles the enemy with the Gundam. The Gustav Karls split off from the Casaria. One unit goes around the mountain while Hathaway cuts him off in the opposite direction. He takes out one of the mobile suits with his beam saber and kicks another one, causing the mobile suit's reactor to go off. He then gets on top of the Casaria and demands that they land. The Casaria crew is like, yeah, a reactor just went off and we aren't in normal suits. Can we move like 5 miles away? That is when Hathaway hears Gigi's voice. He can't believe it is in fact her. She wants him to take her as a prisoner. He takes her and leaves the Circe crew alive. He does destroy their base jabber, however. Hathaway takes off with his new prisoner. He is happy to see her. He tells her that he wants to be with her forever. She catches him off guard by saying that is a lie. They won't be together forever. Remember, her prophecies are usually always right. She ultimately tells him that she is literally stuck between him and Kenneth. He wondered if she was a spy for Kenneth, but she seemed too sincere for that. The two fly off into the distance in awkward silence, and their positions are misaligned. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway's Flash Volume 2. If you haven't figured it out, this is a very human story about 3 depressed individuals. It's also the culmination of the political intrigue we've built over the years on this channel. If you're looking for mobile suits going boom, this isn't the place. However, this book was mainly people talking to one another. I am wondering what they are going to change to make this more visually appealing for the movie. Next time, we will finish the Mafy arc with Hathaway's Flash Volume 3, where we will see the attack on Adelaide take place. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, if your book ends with awkward silence as you ride off in the distance, it's not looking good. Peace.